Hello, and welcome to this third episode of Band of Blades. It finally got dark and grim last time as we lose the whole squad, and now the commander is back, looking at the wretches of the Legion.
I leave for one episode, and you guys break my Legion.
It all happened off screen. It wasn't even our fault.
We did so good until then.
And not just a squad, but my character.
Well, at least they live.
Yeah, they survived.
Yeah.
And this time we're starting off to move advance towards Plainsworth. That's the first thing we're going to do. But first, let's do a round and introduce ourselves. I am Mikael. My pronouns are they, them. This is my channel, and this is the only game I run. So if you're watching this is what you're getting here. I also run stuff for the Gauntlet. So if you want to play with me, then that's your opportunity to join their Patreon and play games. I'm probably putting up some games of Dogs in Vineyard for December, so you might still have an opportunity to join those if you're quick. Paul, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. My name's Paul. I use he, him pronouns. I'm from London in the UK, where I am head brewer at a brewery called Orbit Brewery. I'm really looking forward to today. It's good to have the gang back together. I think you must be our lucky charm, Jim, because when you were here, nobody died, and then you weren't here, and everybody died. So yeah, welcome back, buddy.
See. Thanks.
Let's move on to you, Jim. Do you want to tell us about yourself?
Yes, yeah. So my name is Jim Crocker. I use he, him, his pronouns. Folks that, if you recognize my face, it's probably because I've been a retailer for many years selling role-playing games. You can see a whole bunch of them over my shoulder here. Sometimes I broadcast from my office. I sell games at conventions all up and down the East Coast of the United States, kind of a little bit into the Midwest. And I work with my partners at Indie Press Revolution, sell a whole lot of indie small press story games, role-playing games, stuff like that. And I just picked up Goodman Games, the folks who published Dungeon Crawl Classics, so I'm carrying that stuff too. So if you see me at a convention, do please stop by and say hello. You can talk to me online on Twitter at Jim Likes Games. And if you're curious about what I'm doing at conventions and selling games and stuff like that, I've got a website, jimlikesgames.com, and you can find me there.
You want to go next, Joel?
Yep. I'm Joel Van Dyne, Dyne Joel on Twitter. This is the only game I'm in right now. I think probably pretty much the only project I have going on. I might join the role-playing games writers workshop again this year. So if you want to hang out and hunt for misplaced commas together and stuff like that, it's probably where you'll be able to find me next. I always forget my pronoun, sorry. She, her.
I guess that leaves me. Hi, I'm Matthias. I use he, him pronouns. I'm excited today getting into the actual rhythm of this game. That's what I'm excited for. Yeah, right? So what's the first thing we do, Mikael? Time progresses or something?
We're going right into the nitty-gritty of the ending of our mission phase. The most exciting thing this whole game is that time passes. Commander, you note one extra pressure and one extra time.
Okay, so let me which sheet is that on?
The commander sheet.
Oh, it is on my commander sheet. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's on the actual character sheet, right?
Yeah, the commander side.
Okay. So pressure goes from 0 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we add a time tick. Excellent. Got it.
Yeah, and the quartermaster must spend 1 food to feed the Legion, or the Legion loses 2 morale.
Oh, we got snacks.
That's good. That means
Well, it's
Not much else.
That's right. That's right. We've
We
got,
got
we've
snacks.
got bullets and snacks. That's our
Yeah.
It's us.
Yeah, we're spicing things up with black shot on our meat.
My wife is a hardcore MCR fan, like been to see them multiple times, you know, like waited in line 12 hours to get into the front row and stuff like that, and just thought that your whole exchange about Welcome to the Black Shot Parade was like one of the funnier role-playing game things that she's seen, you know, from one of my games. So I want you to know that was shared and appreciated.
Yeah, I think we did quite well there, Joel. We managed, like, was it like maybe 3 or maybe even 4 like My Chemical Romance related puns for this
Yes,
game?
Yeah.
Quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to explain my giggling at work as well, but nobody understood. It was a bit of an inside joke, it seems. Next, well, at least luckily the lore keeper then has audience with some snacks, because you have 2 tasks now, both back at camp scene. So for our audience, the last thing that happened, or the thing that happened last episode is that are the legions. Yeah,
We gotta move the little.
Oh right, yes, that's also true. Do we advance? And we do.
Boom!
Right?
Nice. Thank you. It's very important.
We've advanced 2 Plainsworth.
Well, actually, Legion advances is after, so.
Oh, okay.
You have to put it back, and then you're gonna get the satisfaction of putting it forward once again.
Back on the Western Front. I'm just so thrilled that I can move it now. Like the point of playing the commander is that you get to move, you know, the Legion along the map. So
I did a lot of Googling to find out how to do that. So
fantastic.
Yeah. It's not so what happens now is that you get to tell your back at camp scene, and then also because a lot of legionnaires died last time after our successful mission of retrieving the scout. Unfortunately, we rolled very badly on our second engagement for the secondary mission, which means the whole squad died. It was very sad. So we don't have what was that? The Grinning Ravens?
Yeah,
they're not grinning anymore, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Ravens are grinning, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so yeah. So I will. I think I have to frame the back at camp scene first, and then we can kind of like segue from that into the lawkeeper telling the tale from the Legion's history, if you like, because I think they will fit quite well together. So I have a table to choose from. What is our morale at the moment? Can I ask?
It's 5.
Okay, excellent. Then I will choose. The scene is going to be soldiers hold a remembrance for the fallen, which is quite apt. So I think we will be holding a remembrance for the entire squad of the Grinning Ravens. I think, Jim. I think I'd like you to be playing the role of the commander here, because I think the commander would be the person who like takes the point here, takes lead in sort of directing this remembrance service. And this would be her first one, wouldn't it, as well, that she's had to step up and do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then other characters. Do you have like Joel Mateus? Do you have any preference for like who you'd like to kind of play in this scene? Like whether it's one of the specialists you've played before, or whether it's one of the Legion role that you're playing.
I think maybe last time we mentioned something about seeing more of High Command, so maybe doing like Quartermaster, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Marshal Manabur would be there as well. Having sent these poor kids into their death. Quite keen on knowing what actually happened, but I guess we've got to have a remembrance thingy go first here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what does this look like the remembrance service? Because I guess we're in the process of breaking down the camp as well to move on to Plainsworth, because the time and pressure is building up on us. So I imagine the camp is kind of like half kind of like broken down, and the tents are kind of like half been packed away. It's a really like dark, overcast day, and the sky is just like heavy, like hanging sort of slate grey, and this fine, relentless drizzle is just like coming down. Not hard enough to like soak you through, but just so you're just constantly like wet with this drizzle on your face. And the Legion are all gathered around in the central camp. Everybody's there, like the entire Legion. This is like really important. And I think the lawkeeper, he stands, clears his throat, says, "Legion, we are gathered here on this day to remember our fallen comrades, our fallen brothers and sisters. Commander, would you like to say some words?"
And the commander steps forward, and she has just like a very simple, like a leather, like a sleeveless leather, like a jerkin on, and like if she normally wears mail or whatever, and riding pants, boots, and she is covered in scars and tattoos. We've kind of established that she's got that long, kind of dirty blonde hair back and like a thick braid. And she holds up her right arm, and kind of like in a line tattooed down the inside of her wrist are 5 what is she? She is what is her nationality? Or what is that culture? Zemyati. So there's like 5 Zemyati runes, each of which is the first letter of the name of one of the recruits. And you can see it's like a fresh tattoo, like it just got put on a couple hours ago. Like the skin is red. There's probably still some, a little bit of blood from the needle going in and stuff like that. The color is quite, and they're black, like the color of the grinning ravens. And she says, and she steps forth and she says, "We have no bodies. We have no bodies to return to families. We have no bodies to lay here. We have no bodies to return to the sky. We have no bodies to feed back to nature. All we have are memories. This is the fate that awaits some of us, many of us, perhaps all of us, but we fight on because that is what they died for." The cadre recovers because they died for him. We do not have bodies, but we have memories. and she kind of reaches around behind her, and one of her, like her lieutenants, like one of the kind of little personal guards she has that travels around with her. And I think this is where we're going to say she's got like 5, like whoever were the members of her squad when we busted the Legion out. They are now her kind of personal, that's like her retinue. And they hand her like something on a pole, and she brings it out and just plants it like this with her arm extended so that you can see the tattoos along the arm. And it's the banner of the Grinning Ravens. And she says, "The Legion is more than any one of us. The Grinning Ravens are more than any one of them. We will carry their banner until there are others who will carry it by our side. I will carry it until there are Grinning Ravens again." And I kind of plant it, and I say,
Oh, could I add a little detail in there?
yeah,
Jim?
please, yeah.
Like as you like plant the banner like into the mud, this like huge howling gust of wind just picks up and like unfurls it out of your hand, and suddenly like, the Grinning Ravens like banner is just like blowing in the wind. You know when like a flag like cracks as it kind of whips back and forth in the wind, and it's cracking like that.
Yeah, and my hair is whipping along with it and stuff like that, and it's and I think it looks cool. And I say, and I think I'm just gonna let that stand as the moment. I don't think I need to say anything else with that.
I have a small detail to add. And this is probably just in passing as we pan out from that. We can definitely see that Manabur is looking up at a spot, and we remember that spot. Like almost all of the wooden stockade has been taken down already, but this part, like the work was interrupted by this. And it's the part where our chosen sat and gazed upon the Grinning Ravens leaving.
Yeah, and I think at that moment, actually, you see there's a raven flying from there, like over our congregation of people, and like towards the sun going down.
Does the camera follow that, and that's the cut?
Mm.
Some kind of match cut into something else.
Yeah, I think that's probably our chosen.
And when we leave the camp, I've got one of those little I normally don't ride with stirrups, but I've actually got a saddle so that I can hook the banner in, like you've got one of those stirrups with like a little notch in it so that I can hold the banner. And when we advance, I'm going to be, commander at the front. I've got that Grinning Ravens banner for the ride to our next, our new camp.
Joel, did you want to add any kind of details into that scene before I move on to telling a tale about the Legion?
I think probably during all of this, the quartermaster is kind of on the edge of the scene, and maybe sort of like contrary to like the very majestic shot of like the banner whipping and the commander's like beautiful hair and like all of that. The quartermaster's just kind of like sitting and like kind of rubbing his head a little bit, and like his bones hurt. It's raining, and before all of this, I think it's probably pretty common that a quartermaster could be like a retired mercy, because I don't think you can be a mercy for that long, because it's your job to get your bones broken over and over again. So like it's raining, and it makes his bones hurt, and like there's probably like, you know, a cheer from the very inspiring speech, and he's just kind of like looking at his notebook and thinking like, I have to find 5 more 17-year-olds to replace them.
Oh, harsh.
Yeah. So I think he's just kind of like off by himself a little bit.
Oh wow! Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to be practical about these things. It's all logistics at the end of the day, isn't it? Like war is logistics.
Yeah, and like for the grinning ravens to live on, he has to, you know, find more people who might just die again. And like it's in the fiction that there's not really that many even like grown adults that have military experience and stuff like that. So it'll probably be like 5 peasants who aren't ready for any of this.
Good that we're heading into a town.
Exactly.
Oh wow. So yeah, I think I'd like to sort of segue from that, like into the telling a tale of the Legion, because yeah, when 4 legionnaires die, the Lawkeeper gets to tell a tale of the Legion's founding. So I think that as the commander kind of steps back, and the banner of the Grinning Ravens is sort of flapping in the wind, Lawkeeper steps forward. He's this old Panyar man with this beard like made out of kind of white downy owl feathers kind of coming down, and he steps forward, and his apprentice is carrying the sacred annuals, the big bound tome, and he places it on the little kind of lectern, opens it to the page, because the Lawkeeper, he's got his one maimed severed arm that he keeps inside his jacket all the time, so he can't like turn the page. So, and he steps forward. He says, "I am Lawkeeper Ivory, remembering snow, and it is my sacred, honored task to help you remember." To remember the heroic deeds of our brothers and sisters in the Legion who go before us and carry us on to greatness. We remember them. We remember Rakash Baya. And like I think the entire Legion just like repeats the name, like punches the air like Rakash Baya. We remember Leonin Danovich. We remember Gabridor One Eye. We remember Kalkia Khatri. And we also remember the history of this Legion. For without the history that is written down into these sacred annuals, our deeds are but ephemeral upon the wind. They are leaves that will just be blown away on the autumn gust. These annuals make our deeds, make our history into something real, more real than the flesh and blood that we spill on the battlefields. Let me tell you a tale of the Legion's founding by the 7th Emperor, as recorded 427 years ago in the first annals. Let me tell you about the Legion's first commander. We remember Commander Golden Rushing Bull. We remember that commander who formed the Legion. We remember their strength, their immovable, irrepressible strength. We remember their kindness, their open-heartedness, their willingness to help and support any member of the Legion. We remember the dangerous threat that this Legion was formed to face. Some may say more dangerous than the threat we face today. That threat, you may have heard. And you can see he kind of like catches his, quite rare that he kind of like loses his kind of like voice here, and he kind of like catches his throat, like as if it's hard to say. Oh no, I've just drawn a complete blank. Someone think of a cool name for the first threat. What was it?
The Unchosen. Someone who stole the power of the gods to become rather than having it granted to them.
I love it.
The Taker.
Yes, that first threat. He who rose above his position and thought he could take the power of the very chosen themselves. He made a mockery of our chosen. He made a mockery of the Emperor. The war was long. The war was bloody. But the Legion prevailed. The Legion prevailed then, as the Legion will prevail now, against the horrors of the Cinder King. We remember and we will prevail. We remember and we will prevail.
We remember and we will prevail.
And I think that I'm going to choose upon the Legion is that the histories raise morale. The Legion gains +2 morale.
There you go. Your campaign action is back, Master. No?
Got to get to 8.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Only at 7.
We're at 7.
That's why I was asking if like mine would bump it up.
Oh well. Sad story.
Yep.
I mean, it was.
True story, though.
Yeah.
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 Hey, thank you for everyone listening to me like melodramatically monologue for 5 minutes.
It was so awesome.
That's why we let you be the lore keeper. You're great at this. Cool.
Yeah, Paul, you're describing a feature as if it were a bug. That's
Cool.
Awesome. So now we have our campaign actions. So you, Quartermaster, you have then one campaign action, if I understand correctly, at least from default.
Yeah.
Or 3.
Yeah. So I have kind of like 2 plans, and I was wondering, sort of maybe depending on what the marshal's thinking. So I'm gonna spend a supply to have 2 actions because I gots to recruit, and then for the other action, I was thinking either rest and recuperation to start the healing for Kadra, and I think the scout that we found.
Yeah, the Cadre has the Orite trait that allows him to boost a campaign action for himself. So we'll get more bang for our buck if you take a campaign action that benefits him.
Yeah, so I was thinking either that one, or I think using Tempest for the secondary mission was mentioned, and they have a lot of stress, if I remember correctly. So I could also do Liberty to clear up stress from whoever.
The Ghost Owls
before.
Also have some stress, but I guess I should need to live with that.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly here now, but if they go on the secondary mission, they don't really have any risk of stress, do they? Just like dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I didn't want it to be like.
I think the wounds are more
Yeah.
concerning.
Okay. I was just thinking because next time possibly I'll have high morale. Okay. So, for my first campaign action, I will use rest and recuperate. And I will read what that does. Take time to let soldiers tend wounds and rest. Each legionnaire marks a tick in any harm row. Once, sorry, I just saw the chat and thought that the not yet was me. Once a row's healing ticks are full, erase the ticks and injuries in that row. And then I also have a mercy that I can use to
What page
help
is this on?
further. I'm reading it off of my character sheet, but I think it's around 136, I think, starts the campaign actions. Rest and recuperate is 138.
So the cadre gets an automatic boost, which is an extra healing tick. So if we get one off the bat, you're spending to get a second tick for everybody, and the boost for the cadre gets a third. That clears him, I think, right?
I think is it your trait that the action is? I thought last time it was that the whole action is boosted if it affects you. So everybody should get 2 ticks, and then I have a mercy who will give you another tick if you think it would be better to use the mercy on Kadra instead of.
That is how I understood it as well. If it affects.
That's how we did it last time, because I remember we cleared everybody's stress.
So everybody gets 2 ticks.
Yeah, everyone gets 2 ticks, I believe.
Yeah, and I'll check that until next time. Just to be sure, but for now.
So yeah, everybody should get 2, and then
the cadre gets a third.
Yeah, from the mercy.
Yeah, from the mercy, and then I'll mark the mercy as wounded.
So that means, the cadre had 3 in 3, but that clears all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Same for anthracite then. And I think that's all the wounds we had.
Yeah.
Efficient.
And then I would like to spend a supply to recruit, which it says give up to 5 rookies. I think it's not like I have to roll for it or anything. I think I can just say that I want 5. Because in the boosted one, it sounds like the default is that you get 5. So
yeah, that seems right.
So I will spend the supplies to recruit some more grinning ravens.
Okay. Nice. Thank you all for cleaning up my sheet.
Now you get to come up with more names.
Yeah.
It's true. And now that we're done with the campaign actions, we get to advance. So now, Commander, you follow the instructions on your character sheet on how to advance. Let's see here.
Sure. Let's take a look here. Pressure. When you advance, roll pressure minus horses spent and add time below.
Yeah, that's what's you add time after you rolled. That's
yep. Our
pressure is 1.
Our pressure's 1. Time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You don't. No, you just roll 1, and then you add the result of the roll to time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you just push the pressure button, and then we get.
Got it. Okay.
It's a bit clunky how it's described there.
Here we go. Bonus dice. There's 1, right? No. Oh, pressure's 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Submit that. 6.
Oh, that is 3 time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this is the one where we don't want to roll higher.
That is correct.
Oh no! I was ready to get all jubilant there.
Nope. We would like to roll low for that.
Can we? Oh no! Can we? Because I have 0 sense how your playbook works, or your role book works.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a sense of what this means in fiction, or what we think this means? Like,
so time is how long?
Yeah, for time and pressure. Yeah.
Sure. Pressure is a measure of how surrounded we are by the undead. Pressure and has to do with as pressure increases, missions get harder because we're kind of like more and more hemmed in and surrounded and stuff like that, and it makes it more difficult to do stuff. Time is exactly what it sounds like. It's the timer before the end of the game. Okay. So if we fill all of the we've done terribly on time so far. I presume that because we just filled 3 ticks, and we had what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 7 filled already just from our first 2 missions. Which I'm a little confused by.
I'm also confused.
Well, I don't remember all individual ticks, but should be recorded. I mean, we start on 3, and every time you advance, you get.
Oh, that's right. It started with 3 filled. It didn't start empty. It started with 3 filled. We advanced. We added a time click because we failed that last mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah. No. I forgot that it starts with 3 ticks filled. So, but this is as we fill each of those clocks. Mechanically, that means the Cinder King makes some kind of progress. It's gonna unlock they can bring new enemies to bear against us, or whatever plans they're working on can come to fruition. In much the same way that when we fill our clocks for projects and stuff like that, they come to bear. So if all 3 of those clocks fill all the way before we get to Skydagger Keep, we lose the game.
Yeah. And what happens when you fill that 1 clock is that both our chosen gets an advance.
And pressure, so that adds to how tough it is for us to, to move. So one of the things we want to try and do as we're going on missions is try and keep that low. When we advance, it resets because we've run away from, whatever undead are kind of hemming us in. But, obviously we can never go back on the map because that's been, taken over by the undead. But that was just a crap roll. It's just what happened there. Like we just got unlucky on the roll. But pressure goes back to 0 because we've advanced.
Yeah, so basically this is what you want to avoid by keeping the pressure low.
Yeah.
As you see, when you roll a few 6s, you're gonna be dead very quick.
And now if we had spent horses, that would have put the pressure from 1 to 0. And then we would have rolled 2 and taken the lower of the 2, right? Which is what happens when you roll. So.
Yeah. I see.
So it takes a long time to go from the Western Front until Plainsworth.
Yeah.
So I spend food on these times as well?
No.
Okay.
Because and like I think fictionally it's because we're recruiting as we go, right? We're like stopping into villages and refugees alongside the road.
Yeah, and I imagine it also being. I think there's already coming over it turns out that there's undead coming over like all parts of the river, so there's more crowded than you anticipated, and you're moving pretty slowly. And perhaps like you use some time to like shelter these civilians who are also escaping while you're recruiting or something like that.
Oh geez, if the south falls, that means that we might, ways might be cut off on the map.
No, that's like you can always go places, but that means what it does mean is that we can also start to encounter weather effects, and that can be narrative or actually mechanical, where we wake up and there's a frost for the first time. That's actually a fun kind of free play or back at camp scene is the first time you wake up and find out that something's frozen or something like that, or you have trouble sleeping because it's cold.
Absolutely. Cool. But you do arrive at Plainsworth.
Could I jump in and add a little detail?
Yeah.
So I think on the road to Plainsworth, as they're passing all these refugees and these kind of burnt out villages and stuff, we've got the rookie Adhikar, who last time he was part of the Ghost Owls who did the rescue mission into Carlsberg, and he kind of he looks up in the sky and he sees this flock of kind of ravens that's been circling around for hours, and he nudges Amber Flown Smoke, his fellow Panyard rookie from the Ghost Owls next to him, and he goes, "Hey, look, these ravens, they've been following us for the last few miles or so. I assure the ravens they're looking after us today."
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, cool. Nice and simple. So what's Plainsworth?
Yeah.
Sounds rocking.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hive of scum and villainy. Well,
Plainsworth used to be a small, prosperous town. It sits at an intersection between several old Empire roads. So that's pretty much what it is. It's it's a trade. Used to be a trade hub, and it's in the middle of what is pretty much the all the money breadbasket. Where we are going through now is the main farming, most richest farming areas of this part of the land. Now, when you arrive, it is not as bustling as you might have found it before the war. There is shattered windows. There is a lot of refugees with really no place to go. I guess you see like these people that you have been kind of escorting here as well. And when they come, you already get a sense that, I mean, they're probably not going any further, right? They're already been walking for like miles on miles on miles, and I think there's a lot of these kind of people here, and yeah, generally all around the mood of the town is very gloomy. You see like people when you come, probably like whispering in between themselves, and I guess it's pretty clear that like old empire or like the empire itself is not very well regarded here, and the Legion is, after all, like a construct of the old empire, and as such, you're also probably seen with a lot of skepticism around these parts. But you're armed forces, so you're like let in, and people give you space to put up camp. But yeah, definitely like during these days, the first day or two, you notice that there's definitely like a lot of people, a lot of problems here. They have a lot of problems with bandits, and there's also some the undead are moving in pretty quickly from the south. People are getting a little bit desperate, and the mood is not very good. So that's what you're moving into here. Yeah, and for the missions of the day is you've chosen one assault mission. I mean, you have also gotten the intel questions, I guess, if you want to do those. But the missions you have gotten is there's one assault mission called Operation Western Wing, actually randomly rolled. So I guess it's on the western frontier towards the river, where you have got sources saying that there is a troop of Renders, Black Oak Knights, who are moving to establish a forward camp to kind of block the way from Plainsworth, which the commander has chosen as the main target, at least for now. And then there's also a supply mission to go to one of these villages that are overrun by undead, to where there's rumored to be quite a lot of supplies still that they didn't get, couldn't take with them, as they were surprised by undead. So those are our missions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask some intel questions?
Oh, I most assuredly do. Let me take a look at my, and that's under the, that's going to be, is that in the commander role book?
Yes.
I'm going to find that. I think so. Duties, time, advanced, location, missions. Intel questions, yes. So we hold 3 or more intel.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to actually, let's start with our 0. If you hold 0 or more intel, ask one of the following questions. And this is about our main mission. This is about Operation Western Wing, our assault mission. So my first question is, what would be a useful item to bring on this mission?
I think Blackshot. There is definitely the main, although it is making a Black Oak forward camp. Most of the troops in this part is not Black Oak Knight. They're
supported by the dead.
Yeah, there's
excellent.
Probably like two of the knights, and yeah.
Okay. 1 or more intel. Have we encountered any elites yet?
Yes, you did last time. There was the lieutenant in the Black Oak Knights.
What might be a weakness of an elite we've encountered?
Huh. Cool. So,
There's also a later question about lieutenants. So there's a differentiation between elites and lieutenants.
So is the lieutenant is that an infamous?
No, it's one step above. It's a 34.
So it's an elite, right? Yeah. That's what's the weakness of an elite we've encountered?
Okay, an elite. Oh, sure. Okay, so Black Oak Knights would be elites.
Yeah.
But the lieutenant is a lieutenant, not an elite.
Yeah.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Well, weakness of the Black Oak Knights. They it might be a bit counterintuitive, but they are pretty foolhardy, and more so than their undead brethren sometimes, and very much preferring to use brute force and direct confrontation to use their strengths.
They're overconfident. We can possibly lure them in over their heads.
Yeah, they also are fearsome in those kind of. So it's a reason why they're overconfident.
Yeah.
But
they're like easily tricked, like easily like lured into.
Perhaps, yeah. Okay, that's good. So there's a question there that says, what challenges or problems are inherent in a specific location ahead? Can I ask that about about Plainsworth? Or is that only like down the trail?
No, I think that's
okay. Yeah. What challenges or problems are inherent here in Plainsworth that we might have to deal with while we're here?
Well, I think I kind of already described parts of it. There's definitely like this. There's this growing desperation. It's pretty much like a powder keg waiting to blow up. Either when the first major group of people start leaving, or there's just waiting for something to happen. And I think probably if you stay here, you don't have to stay here long before that's going to happen. It's definitely like the situation where it's just waiting to blow up.
Okay. So you went into the city to rescue that scout. So I want to know, what is a specific broken researching? And in this case, I think it's who's our alchemist? Is that Blighter? What is Blighter researching right now?
Let's see. I'm gonna have to have a look at Blighter myself here. I think. Okay, I got it. Blighter is rumored to be researching something that they call gut sacks. They're pretty much when they're killed, their bodies explode in a shower of poison, or at least that's what you've heard people say. It wasn't pleasant for those who witnessed it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was our questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like our save scout who got you that information.
Yeah, and I think like that is absolutely like as soon as you bring that scout in, like the commander does not particularly care whether they feel like talking to her right that moment. They are going to talk to her right that moment.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank you, Anthracite.
Yeah, good job there. Cool. So then we are ready to do our go into mission. I think after I think we'll assemble our engagement roll, and then after we'll have a little break and then go into mission.
So can I ask just a rules question? We had that project that we were working on for the Blackshot grenades. When do we roll that or figure out how we make progress on that? Or would that have to be we have to spend a campaign action to move forward on that? Okay.
Yeah, that's advancing it is one of the things I can do as quartermaster, but it's kind of advised in the book that like that's really a thing that you do when you when things are good.
Sure.
Basically.
Yep. Nope. Completely makes sense. Yeah.
That's a project in Apothecary Orvos's playbook, and it's a 6-segment clock, and he's fielding 3 already, so he's halfway there.
No, that's cool, but it's also not. It's also not when
get off my back, man! I'm trying as hard as I can.
Yeah, when we're not desperate to recruit an entire new squad, then we can devote attention to that. That's completely legit.
Yeah, the medic's been busy.
Cool. So is the marshal chosen the squads who's going out on this assault?
Yeah. So, and I've revised my initial thoughts about this. I think we get this inside the tent, the marshal's tent, war room style, standing around a table. Are not all, but a number of our specialists. And Manabur is pointing out the most recent information from the scouts, and like pushing like a little wooden black painted figurine on a horse over where they're trying to establish their forward camp. And I think he points towards the cadre, and he says, "No. We need to pay them back in kind. And there's an opportunity here."
I was speaking with the Ravens last night, and they agree with me.
Good. I want you to take the Ember Wolves because, well, their banner is one of the most famous ones. It will help you draw them out and draw them into an ambush. Let's pay them back in kind. And he looks over and nods towards Val and Emilio, indicating that those are the two who will be accompanying you. But you're the mind, you're the command of this mission, because it's an ambush and it's not a phase-on assault.
I think Apothecary Emilio Orvos goes over to the cadre and just kind of pokes him kind of lightly in the ribs and says, You just said you're speaking to the Ravens last night? What, the Ravens who just got massacred and entirely wiped out 2 days ago?
Yes. Well,
But you don't need to explain yourself, Cadre. Whatever happens in those sweat-soaked fever dream night terrors of yours, they can stay there.
well, no, it's quite simple. You see, each of them, they all gave their lives so that I would be returned alive. I stand here before you because they bled for me. In fact, actually, literally on me. They bled on me, so their blood is my blood now. We're well, it's difficult to explain.
I understand. Blood is thicker than water, my friend. I understand.
And I raise an eyebrow, and I kind of like jerk my head to the side a little bit. And let me take a look here. And I say, yes, quite right, Rakesh. You're too nervous. Rakesh thinks you're too nervous.
I think if I can jump in, like, I think Val's watching this, like, because she's Zemyati, and Zemyati, it says in the notes, are like always making blood oaths. Like, they keep a knife on them so that they can be prepared to make a blood oath at any second. Like, they love it. So she's like, oh yeah, you know, their blood is your blood. You got your blood all mixed up. That all makes sense. And then you're like, yeah, now they talk to me. She's like, wait a minute. I've done like 100 blood oaths. And that's not how any of this works.
Are you saying this out loud to me, or is this like what's going through your head as you're kind of giving me the side eye?
I think she's just thinking it, but she's not a particularly, like, I think it's probably pretty easy to read her face that she's like, that what? Like, because there was probably like a bit of surprise where she's like, yeah, I know all of this, and then like, excuse me.
But then the marshal interrupts, going, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apothecary, do see if you can make progress with your little project. This might be an opportunity for field tests.
Sir, yes. Project Boom 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 is full steam ahead.
And then he turns away from your little group. So if you want to go into something else, or still do something there, be my guest.
Valentina, you will be our wall once again.
And indeed, I will.
And I know that all of this may seem strange. Leonin assures me that the sort of blood bond that I share with the Ravens is different than the one that you might be used to as a Zemyati.
Kadre, what squad are you from?
I am from whatever squad. Sorry, actually. So just a second, as a player, I'm going to take a timeout and just step up a level. The specialists aren't explicitly members of a squad, right?
I would imagine a lot of them were, but probably they could have been hired.
Yeah. Okay.
Extra.
And I like raise an eyebrow, like I don't understand the question. And I say, I am the commander attaches. The marshal attaches me to whichever squad requires my services.
Yeah, and I'm just going to ask the group, I guess, because Is this normal, or is it like do you usually go up in the ranks? Because it seems like you're describing here, Jim, that that they started as a specialist pretty much.
Yeah, like I think kind of the way that we established my origin was like I was in like boot camp and useless, but then they handed me a rifle and everyone was like, holy shit, can he shoot? And like they're like, okay, you're gonna be a sniper. Like you're gonna go where we need, a bullet put between someone's eyes at 100 yards, wherever that is.
Yeah, you're gonna.
And so
we'll put you on this extra development track.
Yes, yeah. So I don't think like the cadre. I picture him as like he basically like whatever skipped a couple of grades, to get where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
is kind of how I view it.
So he didn't have like. This is probably kind of the closest he's been with a squad, I guess. Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
I was just wondering, like, if he had been a grinning raven, and like maybe that's kind of why. But nope.
It's almost like he's haunted by the experience of having gone through.
Boom, boom, boom! There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, your trauma, I guess. That fitted nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Cool. Oh wow! So we're all reprising our roles from the first mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Then, did we also have a group for the secondary mission? Groups?
So I was about to finish with that when Manabur turns away from them. He calls over to Dame Aurora, and he says, we've also found an old outpost. It's been abandoned. There's probably some undead lurking about there. But local peasants have told us there should still be supplies and similar to gain there. Take the shattered lines to haul that in. Yep.
Awesome. So lastly, before we go to break, let's assemble our engagement role for our primary mission.
All right. So, Legion loyalty. All on the mission are oaths sworn to the Legion. Correct? So that's one.
Any civilians on this one?
Did the commander spend intel to give you foresight and info? You didn't spend any, right?
Well, I presumed that this was when I decide if I'm going to do that or not.
Yeah.
And so how does that? Can I spend? Is it one per one, or I can spend one and that is one?
The question is, did the commander spend one intel to give you foresight? So if you spend two, that doesn't help.
The answer is yes. I'm going to spend one. Okay. I'm going to spend one intel to have a like ask the peasants what they've seen as they fled. So with that I am then going to lower our intel by 1 from 3 to 2.
Then is everyone on the mission a specialist or soldier? No. Does any legionnaire distrust the leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders in the battlefield?
Not yet. I have to make that clock at some point. That's
the not fear clock, right?
I think it's a legitimate question about how I have a legitimate question about how unsettled is Val by the fact that I'm talking to ghosts. Does that in any way, would that in any way make her question my judgment on the mission?
I think if this was a different setup, that might be
yeah, and I guess we haven't seen it come into play like when I'm in a fight. It's a weird eccentricity now, but it hasn't endangered anyone yet, I guess. So
yeah, and the squad that we were sent with, the Ember Wolves, is her squad.
Oh, okay.
So she's like on it, on her best behavior. Like
fantastic.
Are required specialists or equipment not on the mission? No, we've got required 2 of them, or 3 of them even. Then on each assault mission, also ask the following: did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we got. We got snacks and bullets, so let's use it.
Is any legionnaire starting the mission wounded? No. So we're at 3 dice for the primary mission. Shall I roll that?
Mm-hmm.
Sec. Alright, here goes the roll. There's the 6. We're in control position when the action starts.
Awesome. Just before we leave for break, which players will be playing which characters, Marshall?
So, the book doesn't necessarily say if I get to decide that, but
I think it does, doesn't it?
Does it? It just says who goes on the mission. In general, I think this is like a quick question for the group. How attached do we want people to stay to like their specialist characters that they've created and stuff? How are you feeling about this? I mean,
so I think we all understood at the beginning that we might not be playing those characters, and that's part of the game is handing them off. So,
yeah, but in this situation,
I'm happy to reprise it. Or not as.
Yeah. I do think in this situation it kind of makes sense that you 3 get to explore the character you've started with, unless someone's like, no, I don't want to play mine. Then we just switch and I play them and you get to have a rookie.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with playing the same characters.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to see like what more you thought, because you obviously all put thought into them, so I'd like to know a little bit more what ideas you had for them.
Yeah, I'm not holding on to that like every single time when this character comes up I want to play them, but I think it's quite nice that they've popped up again in this mission, so yeah, I'd quite like to see them played again.
Cool. And who are you playing, Matthias?
I'm going to be playing Mitali Deva.
So what squad do we have with us?
Ember Wolves.
The Ember Wolves.
The all-girl squad.
Oh, they're like the shock troops, aren't they? The ones that go in first and like clear the way.
I mean, but they're also all still rookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So recruits.
I've been looking forward to this one. My all random rolled. They all randomly rolled almost all Panyar and all women. So I'm like, this is gonna be the most badass squad for sure.
Yeah, I'm playing the odd one out in that sense because I'm not Panya.
The friendly Barton. Cool. Okay, so we'll be back after a 10-minute break.
10 minutes.
We'll
okay. Cool. See you soon.
Should we leave our cameras on, Matthias, or does it? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Okay. See you all in 5 to 10 minutes.
welcome back. We're just about to start our first mission of the day, our primary mission, Operation Western Wing. We had a great engagement role here, and as I now have a really like tangible feeling to what you're sacrificing to get this good engagement role, using the intel from the mission last time. I am feeling like we're putting you in a very good situation to start here. And yeah, I imagine it being like so. It's not a lot of. I think it's like only a few hours ride from Plainsworth that you're going towards the river, where you heard reports that that the Black Oak Knights, they are moving to put a forward camp to block off the way along the main road from Plainsworth. And I think how this looks fictionally with this 6 on the engagement roll is that the Black Oak Knights, they are still human and they need to camp. So I think at this point this is exactly what's happening. You're along the river. To like imagine the landscape here. It's flat. It is in the late summer, and I think like even though that the fields, I mean there has been war here. I think most of the fields, the grass is cut short. You know, anybody who knows a farmer is that as long as they're alive and there's no undead at their in their fields, they will do the work that they have to tend to their animals. And as such, surprisingly enough, the landscape, the most of the fields here are cut, and it's very easy to see the camp from quite far away. And you as they have lit up fire to cook or something like that, very cocky, probably thinking that nobody is coming for them here. And you manage to sneak up on them and no problem, and you find them. Like how? What is your approach to this situation here? Who was commanding here? It was Emilio, no?
No, the cadre.
The cadre.
The cadre.
What's
So
the ambush? Yeah.
So the cadre wants to. I want to make sure that at least 2. So the entire point of this. The point of this is that Val, you are not here to like. We don't want you to like go toe to toe with these knights to try and take them down. You and your squad, focus entirely on just making holes in their armor. Because the cadre is going to be there with his. And who are the? Actually, I guess I should make sure I know who's the other specialist with us.
Yeah,
Same as first mission, I think.
Yep, it's Emilio Orvos, the apothecary, the combat medic with the. Well, he's now got an alchemical bandolier with him. So he's basically this combat alchemist.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm carrying this this all right medical alchemy bandolier.
So is this the kind of thing where you could conceivably just have little acid bombs where you could just chuck it at them, and then just Val hammers on a plate or something just to, get it.
Well, let me tell you what I've got. I've got this bandolier, and I've got 4 uses of this bandolier.
Okay.
Number 1 is owl sight oil, which lets you see in the dark for 24 hours. The bright light is blinding. One is Chem Balm, neutralizes all poisons and toxins. There's Deep, which lets you hold your breath for an entire scene. And then there's Rage Venom, gain physical potency for a scene. You must make a resolve resist to avoid attacking friends and foe indiscriminately. Addictive.
That's really interesting.
Mm.
So does a use of that cover the squad, or is that just for one person?
I think it's just for one person. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Then like it seems to me.
Yeah, if you want to use that into like bring that into the sort of the tactics of the assault, yeah, I'm cool with that.
So I think that if we can sneak up on them and we've got time, what we want to do is we want to lay out the battlefield in the manner of our choosing, and then basically lure them out to us.
Yeah, before you do that, it's probably a good time to decide which load you have.
The cadre has cadre's got a normal load. I've got my rifle. I have an extra. I've ticked an extra load of black shot and some oil.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Does Blackshot take 2?
So as the sniper, I have Blackshot on my sheet, but I've got 3 uses of it.
Yeah.
Taking an extra one gives me an additional 3. So I feel like
and you all have Blackshot because the quartermaster sent Blackshot with you.
So does that mean it doesn't count as a load item, or how does that work?
Yes, you get it for free.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and let's see.
So the other thing that I have is a Crimson Shot round that I haven't told anybody I brought along with me.
Oh no!
Won't you like?
I'll die.
I'll
die if I shoot it. Yeah. So I maybe haven't let anybody know that I've got that tucked away with me.
Yeah, this is a very like. I love this. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hopefully, I won't. If everything goes according to plan, I won't need it.
I think we get a little cutaway scene of like the quartermaster back at camp, and he's got this like little ornate sort of glass fronted case where all the Crimson Shot is kept, and he's counting it all up, and he's like recounts it, and he's like, where did this one? There's one missing, you know?
No, I think I requisitioned it. I wouldn't steal it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go to the quartermaster for it. I'd go to the commander for it.
I see.
I mean, it's from like your life force, isn't it? Do you even need to ask anybody for it, or do you like make it?
Well, specifically what it says is that you're authorized to bring 1 Crimson Seeker shell on missions. Firing it counts as a threat for attack, and you must mark trauma. So, so maybe it's just like they just I have a little case of them, and I have to somehow prep them, and I'm allowed to bring 1. That's I kind of
I mean, I think Quartermaster Albrecht would give it to you because he, I said, he was a mercy. So if you're like, I have to die so other people can live, he's like, yeah, makes sense.
Cool. I mean, I think the cadre talked to the commander who, then just like we can that happened off camera, so we don't know necessarily, but I've got it tucked away. I can feel it. It's like it kind of thrums a little bit in my breast pocket here where I keep it, and after you carry one for about like an hour or so, the thrumming kind of syncs up with your heartbeat. So so there's that.
Also, just to answer your questions, Joel, for Liquorers,
okay.
How that the reason that I didn't allow you to do it last time was because it was a consequence of a devil's bargain.
Okay.
You can use it in combat. So what you would use it for is like there is some kind of corruption, and you can. I mean, you just as you did last time, accept that because I offered it to you as a devil's bargain. I didn't allow you to negate it because that's like the point of the devil's bargains. I think the consequences comes either way.
Okay, yeah, I thought that might have been it, but I wasn't sure how much of it. Like, yeah. I got it, but I also feel like that kind of like a little bit knocks against the play. Like, if the player is like thinking ahead in that way, I think, like, I'm not mad about it or whatever.
I'll keep it in mind.
I just wasn't sure, like, because now I'm starting with corruption, so I didn't know, like, if I took it now, if I could just like use it now or wait.
The way I read it is that it is like immediate.
Okay.
But if I definitely see your point about I'll keep that in mind for if that happens again in terms of like letting you resist it, or I might not use it as a devil's bargain at all. And but yeah, at least that's. I don't think at this point it would make sense for. You were about to say something, Jim?
Certainly in the book, some of the examples I read, they used corruption like several times as a devil's bargain. Like you're going to be neck deep wading through, undead bile. So, yeah, sure, extra die if you just say, "Yep, Mark II corruption." So that is.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that's part of probably why the reliquary is 2 boxes, because like I think it makes sense to use corruption a lot in devil's bargains, and like the reliquary is expensive.
Oh, do the 2 boxes mean it costs your full load to carry it? Yep. I thought that meant you had the option of bringing more than one of them. Okay, got it. Okay.
If there's a little line that connects them, then it means you need to fill out both to have it. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
So,
but we get Blackshot for free. That doesn't count towards part of our load.
And if you look at the attributes where it says +1 resist, those boxes are not connected, so they can be marked basically twice.
Got it. Okay.
That's the UI idea behind it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, same for religious missions. When the quartermaster sends reliquaries, you still also get free use of it. But yes, but what I hear as a feedback here for me as a GM is that I should use corruption more outside of devil's bargains. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I love corruption.
So you can use your reliquary, because that definitely I definitely agree that that's cost you a lot to bring it. So I should give you the opportunity to use it.
Well, we've just introduced things that are going to explode corruption all over us, so I think there'll be ample opportunity, I suspect.
Yeah, I was going to bring it anyway. It was just if I could use it before, since I have corruption from last time, I would want to, because in case something like that same thing happens and I take 2 or 3 corruption at once and now I have a blight, which you can't fix ever.
I'll let the decision I made last time roll, but if that happens again, I'll let you resist with the reliquary.
Okay.
So what we want to do is they're like they've kind of taken over sounds like kind of like a farmhouse or something like that, and there are these fields all around and stuff. So we want to have the alchemist lead a couple of the rookies to douse a big a fairly sizable section of one of those fields of rye or whatever it is that's lain fallow in oil. We want to call them out or like have them spot us, have someone flee, they're going to follow us, and when they ride through that field, we set it on fire along with them. And that will be how we introduce ourselves.
Or how about if there's this field there, how about if we dig like kind of pit traps in there and lure them to fall into these traps, and then you could pick them off with the gun.
So I think what, like, the whole point of the engagement role is we don't want to spend too much time doing this kind of this kind of thing.
All right, okay.
If you want whatever like thing that you wanted to do before, you have already done.
So
you're in a critical moment where you're supposed to.
So our controlled position is, we are on one side of this fire break we've made. You know, like I think the controlled position is, you know, we're ambushing them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, and that seems like the thing that makes sense. Where we're just, you know, they've ridden into our ambush, and now we can cut them down and try and keep them from getting out of it, and see how we do with that. Is that's my understanding of how that works, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the first action that we are taking a wreck or something like that? For like wrecking the field by setting it on fire and wrecking them with that?
Like they've kind of like I think if we're starting at the point where they've ridden into our ambush.
Yeah, but we want to get something out of this, right?
I think it's rig more than wreck, isn't it? It's something that it's like a trap that we're setting up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who worked on that?
So our fictional starting state is, bam, we're in the middle of ambushing them, and then essentially we're doing a little bit of a flashback to see how we set it up. Is that what's going on right now?
What I'm getting at is we're setting them on fire, or they are on fire, and we want to know how well that works and what effect that has on them.
What we're using to figure out how effective the ambush was. Yeah, completely makes sense. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Rig totally sounds like, I think, the thing that makes sense. Yeah.
And then the next actions will probably be shooting, skirmishing, or something.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. I made a 6 o'clock for pretty much like
destroying them.
Destroying them.
Yeah.
And what you're doing here is controlled. And I think even maybe it has great effect actually, because it's very fictionally positioned like that. Yeah. What are you doing?
So someone has to take the lead on this?
Yeah, I think that would be Apothecary Orvos taking the lead on that, because he's you know, anything that involves pyromania or blowing things up or setting things on fire, he's the one. He's first in the queue for that. In fact, he brought the oil with him. He's literally got it slung over his back, and I think there's like a big smile on his face as he's like getting all the rookies to like sort of slosh all this like oil like all around all this
so
field.
I marked oil as well. So we've got quite a bit of oil.
So how many? So like, is this one use a piece, two uses a piece? Does it like blow our whole thing?
All of them. Although we're getting great effect. I guess we need. Yeah.
I mean, what's your call on that, Mikhail?
Just observation. I think this is one of these Forge in the Dark moments where you can actually kill the monster in one roll if you wanted to blow up all the effect here. I think possibly.
If we push it to extreme, we only get 5 ticks, so it's not.
Yeah, but there's also the heavy as anchor.
What's that do? Also, I'd kind of like to see, before we maybe even do this first roll, because Joel, you mentioned Val, that this is Val's original squad, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see them like in the moments before this, or something like that, or did you like muster them particularly, or something like that? I don't know.
Well, let's get our roll set, and then like all the fiction is what I want to see.
Sure.
But let's before we get too sidetracked with that stuff, let's figure out what dice we'll roll.
Yeah. So Emilio's leading a rig action to rig the field, right? And set it on fire. And I'm that's probably a team action, right? So I will also roll rig. It's probably I don't know if any of you need to join in on this part. You could still do something to give one of us an additional die, of course.
I mean, the cadre's got a die of rig, or we can just say that his oil that he lends to things, just spend a stress for that, and
you can join in.
Give a helper die. Yeah.
I got another special ability last time.
Ooh.
So now when I assist someone, their pushes only cost 1 stress. So can I assist a team action?
Not if I'm not if you're not in the team action.
Because I don't have rig anyway, so I'd be rolling probably not well.
Yeah, Val doesn't take part in the team action.
Sure.
But you could be doing something else fictionally that will help on this, like being the distraction. We're here, we're the Ember Wolves, come over here, right? That kind of thing, for example. I don't know, it's kind of up to you because you don't need to specify an action with what you're assisting, you're just saying a fictional thing.
Mechanically, you could both assist, or you could also do a setup action to increase effect.
Setup action makes a lot of sense here.
If you wanted to. So basically, it's doing something before to increase the effect of the roll that comes after.
But then we need to resolve that first, and that could lead us completely down a different path.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't think there's a setup action here. That doesn't make a. I guess because we're starting in the ambush.
Yeah.
We're just rolling to see how effective the ambush is.
Yeah. The setup action was the engagement roll, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I am rolling rig. It's controlled. Did you say it's great effect? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then
you want to push for? No, I guess it's a group action, right?
Well, am I getting +1 for the use of my oil?
I think we need to use it to be able to do this.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, can I have +1 if I use all my oil, all 3 uses of it?
Is that the devil's bargain if we completely use that resource?
Yeah.
I mean,
seems legit to me.
Okay, sure.
Excellent. I'm gonna mark all my oil.
Do I get that devil's bargain too?
Yay!
Yeah, then I'll do the same. So I haven't talked about my rookie yet. What we see is so like all the Ember Wolves are all Panya, right? Except for this, like I think maybe Val, you even thought when we left camp, wait, we have one person missing, until you spotted the one who she's called Mitali Deva, but everyone just calls her Midi, and she's kind of the baby of the group, and she's literally just a kid. Like, I took the special ability, when someone suffers harm when protecting you, they mark XP. So
okay. Trying to get some special treatment, I see.
Well, you want to get some XP.
It'll work.
I like how you only think it's Val that's going to be protecting you.
You'll be too far away.
I mean, all of you, you're welcome to be protecting me and use your stress to get XP. Yeah. I'm also hauling an additional medic kit around if someone might need it at any point. Yeah. Cool. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, cool. So I'm getting 1 bonus dice for that devil's bargain, yeah? Can I push myself? Yeah.
Not if you
No?
take the
Oh, you can't,
bargain.
but no. All right, cool. Okay, sweet. Bye.
Five.
Yeah. 5 and 5.
And then, well, I get to roll 2, right? If I'm doing rig.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, of
cool.
course. Yeah.
And I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that same devil's bargain. The cadre is just liberally sprinkling oil all along. Where the apothecary tells him to.
Wow. So this is 9 uses of oil we've got here in this field.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it was raining and stuff, so we want to make sure this works. So I'm going to click on. I click on rig, right, and then it says our position is controlled.
Yes.
Our effect is great. And I have 1 bonus die from the Devil's Bargain of using all of my oil. Oh, that's terrible. Someone's taking a stress from that. Sorry, apothecary.
Yeah, I'll take the stress. Definitely. So that's 1 stress. Yeah.
What do you need to do how do you stress out and keep the cadre from doing something that might not be so good?
Oh, is this where you get nervous that I'm talking to people while I'm doing this?
Yeah, totally. I think so. Yeah, I think as you're kind of sort of splashing the oil everywhere. Yeah, you're just talking to all these grinning ravens and splash a bit more over there. That's it. Come on, help me out here. I think you start. You start you're referring to them and it's almost like they're your kids or something,
Yeah, and especially this is yes, I put some there already.
Yeah, and it I'm just when we get back to camp, I need to sort of get you some heavy sedation.
Also, you notice that the cadre is starting to scare Midi. It's obvious.
But a job's a job, and we're going to press on and get this done. And and we've rigged this field to be an absolute burning inferno death trap.
Yeah, and the last roll was for I want to roll 1 for our rookies as well. It's 1 dice. So, yeah, they are no extra stress, so there's 5. I think because this is controlled, what happens is that they come out and run into the fields, run into your ambush just as you expected. And catch fire also because there's a lot of oil, and I think you see there's the 2 Black Oak Knights on their horses charging in, and a small squad of hounds. I think actually you see them they look people, but they're you see one of them a close-up shot of one of them, and you see the sharp tooths they're been sharpened with something, and you see the his eyes being all blood-eyed, shut and completely he's
their eyes are sewn shut, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think is a thing. Yeah, and they take their lips off or something like that. It's
and you just see the sharp teeth, and then just the foam coming out of the mouth, running into this field. And I think what this is pretty much that they are quicker and like they come through this burning like on fire still, but this burning field quicker than you anticipated and actually reaches you.
That sounds horrifying, by the way.
And you see one of them like jumping towards one of the rookies. What do you do?
I duck.
Yeah.
You're talking about me? I'm
yes, maybe I am.
I close my eyes and I'm like, I don't look at them.
I would like to protect.
Yeah, to be clear, I don't. There is not like it's just about to attack. It's not.
Yeah. So it's to explain this, we were in the controlled position, so the consequence can't be super severe. Like we still have time to course correct on that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. What I did now is put you in a worse situation.
Yeah. So the next thing is probably going to be risky to intervene here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the situation being what it is like there is burning undead and the Black Oak Knights running around you in full rage.
Great.
The knights are mounted, right? They're on horses.
Yeah,
okay.
They're in full armor, and you see like I think one of them is like they're a bit. Actually, I think they're actually slower than the hounds. They're a bit behind them and struggling a bit more with the flames as well. But you see them like in their very like heavy armor. One of them, the camera like pans in on, and you see him like with like a chain with like a head on. And as we saw also in the last episode, one of the leaders had like a full chain of skulls around his neck. This one just has one, but it looks like actually one from the Legion, and their face is rotting. It's not one of the ones that you lost last mission, but probably from the big battle. I think maybe it is actually a wolf.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you do? Who's acting first? Who's quickest to react to this?
I was just wondering for the great effect, would part of that maybe be like the horses are like afraid of the fire or something? Like they have a chance of being knocked off?
Yeah, I'll say that definitely the horses are a bit panicked. They're still going in the right direction though.
It's understandable. Those guys are pretty scary.
Cool. Well, I think because Apothecary, Cadre, and the rookie were all busy sort of setting the trap, I think it's Val. I think you get like first chance to respond to this.
Okay. So I was being kind of like the distraction, right? Me and the other Ember Wolves. Mm-hmm. So what kind? It's just the dogs right now, right?
The dogs are in front, and yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea was after they're burning, then we slaughter whoever's left and gets out of the inferno.
Okay.
Well, the pressing issue right now is the rookie that's about to get his face bitten off. Sorry, her face bitten off.
Okay. So when that happens, I'll probably try and protect. But for now, I think skirmish.
Are you leading the rookies as well, or is this just Val?
I wasn't sure if because they rolled to help Rig. So, but they're with me.
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just say.
I wasn't sure.
Just say.
I get to say?
Yeah.
I'll lead them.
Cool. I think you see. I mean, besides, and also, why are you in Frontier? Where are they? There are they.
Meaty was the one that was in front.
Yeah.
I'm in front.
That's what you're saying. If you're the one that's about to get eaten.
Yeah, I think so. Why is it that you're there? Is it by accident, or do you have anything to prove?
No, this is horrifying. This is the last spot I want to be. I think this is also my very first engagement at all. I've been taking care of the squad's meals and stuff, and
are you out of position here? Is this a thing where you were supposed to fall back, but you couldn't look away from this thing coming towards us?
Yeah,
ran away the wrong direction.
It was so horrifying that I just stood there and froze.
Slack-jawed. Yeah.
Because imagine this, not only are they undead, not only are they charging, then this inferno erupts around them, and now they're charging flaming undead. That's literally a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think Violet, who is one of your squad members, is shouts at you, "What are you doing, Vitali? Why are you not falling back? We practice this."
What? And I'm trying to yeah, I turn and run. She's pulling me back, and that's when I turn and run away from the thing.
Cool. Now it seems like a good time for you to try to kill it well.
Okay.
I think this is a risky position. I think that your group of rookies here is definitely at risk.
Yeah.
Do I turn and start running and then see this Val, this creature of war coming out of the hiding spot from the ambush, running towards me? Well, I mean, obviously she's charging the undead, but at first moment looks like she's charging me, and I freeze again.
What a day for the rookie.
Awesome.
I think this is a standard effect.
Okay.
You can, if you want, trade effect for position here for getting the third, because then for 3 ticks you'll have the possibility of eliminating the threat right away.
Okay, so if I lower it to desperate,
you'll get great effect
and an XP.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you get an XP when you roll desperate, don't you?
So how is it that you take a more risk with the squad to get more effect here? What does that look like?
I mean, I think if the plan was kind of to blow them up and then pick off stragglers, running into them kind of ruins that, right? If we stayed farther away, then maybe some of them would die from the fire before they could get to us. But she's kind of giving up that, like, being able to wait some of them out.
Yeah.
But what
Maybe like
in there.
maybe like another one kind of like steps out from the burning kind of field, like and there's now two of them that are standing there on fire.
But what makes great effect is they can spread out. Like there's no time for them for stragglers to get away or something like that. They're still very concentrated at this spot
So
now.
we're just both like fish in a barrel now.
Yeah, and I think what that looks like from like the rest of the squad's perspective is that, you know, I don't know, you can talk for Vitali, Matthias, but the rest of them, they're like they take Val's example, and you just hear like this roar, and then them like charging.
I think, well, I mean, I'm part of the skirmish, so I'm definitely like.
Awesome.
Okay.
Does anybody assisting?
Do the assist shots come from?
What's
from,
it?
from the
One.
trees?
It costs one to assist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, like we've got that. Everybody comes in, and then you hear that. You know, like 50 yards away or so, there's a little like dilapidated, half fallen over windmill, and you know, like up on the roof is the cadre, and you know, there's that crack, and you know, someone who's, you know, like hopefully doing some good as he, you know, shoots into the melee to help out. We'll mark a stress for that.
Okay. So then I have, it's a group action, and I'm loyal, so that's one. One for the assist, and then it's desperate, so that's another. Y'all think 3 is enough, or should I push myself?
We really haven't spent any stress at all yet, have we? I've always thought that spending it early and trying to knock them down is the best approach.
Okay.
This is potentially the last roll of the mission.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a shot at decimating them here.
Okay. So I will push.
Well, that's another stress.
Oh, me.
And then let's see for the rest of them.
I like the look of that 6, though.
Yeah, that's looking good.
Typical me rolls, though, that I can roll a million die.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
well,
yes.
Well, the rest of them
They
also.
hold true to their name. How awesome is that?
Oh, that's cool.
My girls.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely like this. I kind of vividly imagine like how this looks. You charge them like with this. I mean, at great risk, you're running into this field of burning grass as well, but you just hear like the roars of like this whole squad with Val in front, and you all like charge right into them, and they have no chance. Like the momentum, both I guess. The like actual momentum that when you get the like charge, these hounds they're not heavily armored or big or anything, and with your weight you just like knock them over, and you see them just like you see one like just get knocked over, turn, flip in the air, and just like get the dagger in the throat. And I don't know, how do you finish one off? Well,
I think Val uses a battle axe, I think. And in the beginning we were talking about like knocking holes in their armor. and stuff like that. So she's almost more like just using her strength to like crush stuff with the axe rather than like try and like slice through things. I don't want to be too mean to a dog or whatever, but she's just like knocking stuff.
It's not a dog, it's a human.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Or undead.
These are undead. Yeah,
There's called hounds.
Yeah, they're called hounds because they hunt people. They sew their eyes shut so that they can, but then they enhance their sense of smell and stuff like this. Yeah, they're super, super creepy. They cut their lips off so that they can like bite bigger within, like you can see those sharp teeth and stuff.
I'm imagining them that kind of like mutated, like human gimps who have been forced into like sort of this like
they kind of run using their hands and stuff like this. It's
yeah, and I think like probably
that horsewoman video that went around a month ago or something. Okay, well then I won't hold you.
Did we just find out too much information about you? Matthias is
I think what you see is that like in the TV show you see like you're like probably you see one of the Black Oak Knights like getting thrown off their horse and like almost like falling in front of you.
You know what? That bullet from the cadre goes right through the brain of one of those horses.
Mm-hmm.
And that just pitches that knight right off, like face down into the field so that they can jump on him and just wail on him, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely the one with the skull around his neck, as we just saw. And he just like takes his hand and like looks up at you as you what do you do? Say anything?
I think Val like looks at the head. You said it was another Ember Wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then looks at the guy and like takes her axe and is like, "I'm taking her back." And then wants to crush his head.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think like there's a smash cut to Violet as she like pins one of the hounds down, and you see like the mouth of the hound is like and she like stabs it in the face, and it just continues to bite. But then after like a series of it just like you see it just like bleed out and just like lay down still. And as we look up, you see like there's only like some simmering flames, and all of the corpses of this party is laying around. So that was the mission.
And I want to add a detail, which is the final scene as we are heading off. Flickering flames behind us. There's a new scarecrow that's been put up in the field, and it's the armor of one of those knights, the field, like a scarecrow. Yeah.
Oh, and we've painted on it in their own blood on the chest. We remember the Ravens.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think like we see like this scene, probably like it's not like now, but maybe like a couple of days later, you see the same character that we saw in last episode. This guy in like the big black armor. He's on like this huge war horse with this big lance that is in like jet black, almost looks like onyx or something like that. And he just like looks at it, and he takes his visor off, and you see like the head of Mick in the Dark general that we saw last episode, and he like looks at it, and you see his like face is completely white, and like eyes are red, and he looks at it. I'm coming for the Legion. I'll have them all on a spike. And that's it.
Oh, that was a good mission.
Yeah.
That was a good mission.
Just brutal.
Nicely done.
Straight in there, fuck shit up, and leave. Yeah, nice.
What are our rewards for successfully completing that mission?
1 Ember Wolf head.
Yeah.
Got
You
that.
get, plus
Well,
2
weren't there
morale.
two? Weren't there 2 of them? There were 2 of those guys, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one set of armor comes back with us, and both of their heads, for sure. Well, what's
Yeah.
left of their head after Val got done with that one?
Rewenge.
No, but she wanted to take the guy like had one of the heads on his.
Oh yeah. Oh. That's right. The heads that they had with them. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so she wants to take those back to the lore keeper
Yeah.
to let her
Awesome.
sisters rest.
So now, before we start celebrating, let's do the
This is what happened last time.
Yep. The
Let's
secondary
see.
mission. So,
Yeah.
That is Aurora, Dame Aurora. Are all in the mission oath sworn to the Legion. Yeah. They are. So, 1 die. Did the commander spend intel to give you foresight and info?
I will go ahead and spend that that intel. Yes.
Awesome. It's 2 dice. Is everyone in the mission a specialist or soldier? No. Leadership. There's no reason for them distrusting Aurora, right? And required specialist is on the mission. And then, where is it? Supply. On each supply mission also ask the following: did the quartermaster spend food to equip the mission?
Yes.
Yeah, we got snacks.
We got snacks.
Nice. So
Welcome to the snack parade.
So it's 3 dice. That is
Oh, let's see now.
don't say that.
Whoa.
I mean, if we have a marshal that's bad at rolling dice, then, the Legion is screwed.
That is true.
No pressure.
No, for sure.
It's a crit.
Oh, look at that. A crit.
Critical. You
What are they?
Yeah, awesome.
2 6s.
You
Wow.
succeed at the mission and promote 1 squad member.
Oh, wow.
Good roll, Marshall. We had faith in you.
I think it's all sending an officer on a mission, like someone who actually knows how to command a squad of rookies.
That's a bit of an insult towards the cadre, isn't it?
And this is like the first
It's fun.
thing that she's been a part of, right?
Yeah,
So she's probably
yeah.
like been in her tent, just like doing behind the scenes, like planning stuff, and then she's like, "Fine, you want something done right? You do it yourself," and just schools everybody.
Yeah, and we had intel. We knew where they were going and what they might find and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's
Primo snacks.
So, who do you promote?
Um,
We're getting our first soldier.
yeah. I don't think it's time for Alexei yet. So I'm probably going to promote one of the other ones. Anyone?
Poor Alexei. He was just sitting there waiting. Can I get the promotion? I've been on screen.
He had character development last time.
And it's just like, no, we'll have you.
this was the Lions.
Yeah. Anyone you remember from last time when we had them, other than Alexei, that sticks out for you?
No, Alexei is the only one that I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I've got, I do still remember a little bit about Jamil, I think. Yeah, I'm going to promote Jamil.
Soldier.
First one, yeah.
Awesome.
So, is there something we can do in the listings, looking at them, to make that indication? Can we put maybe a little like /R or /S or something like that? Just so that on Roll20 when we're looking at them,
Yeah.
We know this squad is all
Feel free-
rookies. This
all-
squad is
Yeah.
Feel free
That's
to
a good
open.
idea.
Feel free to open the marshal because it's a good overview.
But that's a good idea, though. Instead of doing all of them rookies, we can just mark the ones that are promoted to soldier.
Yeah,
So everyone else
or
is-
we assume that they're rookies. Yeah,
Yeah, just put like a little asterisk at the
yeah, or
the name or something.
yeah,
That means soldier.
/S or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's So, yeah, put it in brackets or something. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. So now let's do the bookkeeping. Getting I'll get the rewards for the mission here. So
Yeah.
it's a good haul this time. You get +2 morale and +1 supply for the primary mission.
Nice.
Watermaster.
So that puts up to, is that 9 morale we're on now?
Yep.
Mhm.
Wow,
Back
good
up.
times.
We're back to being able to lose an entire squad.
Yeah.
And not,
Yeah, because that's how I think of it. That's how I think of high morale.
yeah.
All right, we can sustain huge losses now.
And
Thanks.
Marshall, the secondary mission. You thought it was horses that was on the farm for the asset?
Mhm. Yeah. So, what would have made sense? Like this might. It could have just been. It's food for the horses, right? And that's valid as well. So, we've got like a barn full of hay. So we're stocked up on being able to basically buy horses in Plainsworth and being able to feed them in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, because I was thinking like
So,
this is
it
you
amounts-
critted
Okay.
on the roll, so I think like I mean any of those materials that is on the quartermaster sheets is like on the table here. Like getting another tick of horses or another
Yeah. Horses always seem quite useful.
I mean,
black shot or whatever.
what does the quartermaster say? Like, did he like tell Aurora ever be on the lookout for this or for that? Like, the detailed information, what supplies are needed, probably came from the quartermaster. Do you have a thing?
I think, yeah. I don't know if this is the same for supply missions, but for acquire assets, if you get a crit, a specialist is on the table, or something like a mercy. Which, if it works that way,
yeah, it
could
doesn't
be
say
good.
that. It just says it's a success.
Okay. And then I'm just trying to look up what I remember that laborers were very good, but I can't remember exactly what they do.
I mean,
I think-
we totally could have found people surviving being holed up there and getting them back.
Yeah.
So if you want laborers, then sure.
I'm just trying to remember what they
Yeah,
did.
I mean
Or
you can
horses.
just
Oh, they help on long-term projects.
yeah.
I think I'd rather have horses. Sorry. I just remembered that they were good, but I couldn't remember why.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Aurora returns like with like 3 wagons full of hay.
Nice.
Then we can do XP.
Yep. I've got it open. I can start. I actually did roll a desperate action. Because that last skirmish was one, right? Then I get to mark XP if I survive the mission. Yep, so that's one. If you help your squad by staying out of the way or surviving despite the odds. I kind of didn't do that. I kind of was very much in the way.
I mean, I would think it's despite the odds because I went and made the group action desperate.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
I mean-
also threw 6 dice at it. So,
because I'm good at being in a bad situation. But
yeah, okay, I don't know. Like, I don't really feel it yet.
okay.
I mean, you're the boss of.
Yeah, no,
game, so-
I'm not. If you brought into play your heritage, I think that came up. So that's 2, and per highest threat of opponent level here.
The highest threat was 2.
Okay, so that's that is 4 that I can put anywhere I like.
Mm-hmm. What about Well? What XP do we have? You survived the mission.
Yep. Survived the mission. I believe that I helped my squad through my might and fortitude.
As always.
Brought into play your heritage or trauma. I used both of my Zemyati traits, so I think that came up.
Mm-hmm.
And then per highest threat of opponent faced is 2.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 XP, and then I already marked the one from the desperate action I took.
Yeah. Awesome. And Emilio?
I didn't roll any desperate actions, but I survived, so that's 1. I helped my squad through my alchemical knowledge by setting the fire trap. That's 1. Brought into play my heritage. One of my traits is I'm vengeful, and I think like painting that message, like we remember the ravens, you know, like I think that's quite venge. That's like Rowenge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do those? Can you get those XP for just role playing them, or does the mechanical, or do you have to?
Well,
have the mechanical
I don't know.
thing kick
It just says if you brought into play. So to me, that just means you can just if
Okay.
you just
Yeah.
do it.
Like this is very much in the
Fiction-wise.
loosest sense
Yeah.
of.
Cool.
I think I don't know remember who said it, but someone, I think John or Strauss said something like you should get this every game just by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's the highest threat?
2.
2. So that was the Black Oak Knights, or was that the Hounds?
Like the hounds are just foot soldiers.
Oh god. So if they're just the grunts, oh my god, that's horrible. There we go. So I'm 1 short of getting a new special ability.
And then lastly, Cadre, right?
The Cadre, please.
Yeah, Cadre. Sorry.
The Cadre did not roll any desperate actions. He lives his entire life trying to avoid desperate actions. That is
He's
his.
basically the Big Lebowski, isn't he?
He has, yes,
With a monocle.
the Cadre abides. Yeah. So, yes, all of my, my entire life is the avoidance of desperate action. So no desperate actions. I survived the mission, so I'm gonna tick 1 in my prowess for that. If I helped the squad through keen observation or key shots, I think both of which I did, and that was my plan of, hey, we should set these fields on fire, and noticing that was kind of the layout of the battlefield, how that would work for us. If I brought into play my heritage or trauma. So my trauma is that I'm haunted, and I feel like I brought that into play.
Definitely.
And my heritage, my heritage of noble and vengeful, I think, you know, the 2 of us putting that scarecrow up, I really like that being a kind of a vengeance thing, like a thumbing our nose at the undead. So
yeah, that's great.
2 for that. And per highest threat of opponent faced is another 2. That fills my prowess track of 6.
Nice.
So I'm going to bump my shoot from 2 to 3.
Nice. Bang, bang, bang.
And then also, Marshall, remember that Dame Aurora also gets 2 XP for surviving the secondary mission.
And unless I am mistaken, that is our second successful mission that we've been on.
Yep.
Which means we get something from the Horned One, I think, right?
Third, actually.
Wait, doesn't that only apply if we do missions with favor?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Does it?
I think so.
Then why? Then
Oh,
does
you
favor-
complete when you complete 4 missions of your chosen favor type.
Okay, but there's a different one.
Okay.
That is Horned One specific.
Okay.
We get, I think it gives us intel.
All right. Yes, there is a thing there.
Because she goes off on her, this is called Horned One's, this is Shapeshifter. Gain 1 intel after completing 2 primary missions. You gain this intel in the mission rewards step of the mission phase. It's from information the Horned One provides from their explorations and observations. GM should detail this information explaining what the Horned One has observed.
All right. Okay. Just give me a sec, because that is an ability that we haven't chosen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't realize that we got all those. That's so. Which ability do we actually have? Do we know that, or what's that?
Anointed.
Oh, okay. So Holy Mystic and Wild missions all grant mission favor. Start with 1 mission favor already marked. Okay, cool. So that's like, oh, and this is why we're getting XP for the Horned One, is that would unlock those other ones.
Yeah.
And if we do advance the Horned One, do we get to pick what that is, or do you choose that?
Yeah, you pick.
Okay. Because I was looking at that last night, and okay, cool. So that is a thing we can unlock. I like that. Okay.
Cool. Awesome. So next is bookkeeping. So you mark -1 morale for each legionnaire that died. That was 0. So everything's okay there. And then Lord Keeper, are you ready for another back at camp scene, or you want to save it until next time?
Yeah, but let's do it. I mean, we've got a couple of minutes. Let's do it. Make it nice and quick. Let me get my thing out. So what's our morale? It's quite high at the moment, isn't it?
It's 9.
9. Oh wow. What can it go up to? Is there like a cap on it? An upper cap?
10.
Or does it just? 10. Okay.
Oh, it caps out at 10. Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. Back at camp scene's 10. So we have. Oh, I like that one. A squad talks about home and asks their captain about theirs. So what squad did we just have on that primary mission? That was the Ember Wolves, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'd like it's like the Ember Wolves, like back at camp, returning to camp, and they still their armor like still smells of like the burning rye and the blood off, and yeah, they're talking about like their home, like where they came from and their memories of like what they want to return to when they get home. So yeah, should we all pick a character from the Ember Wolves? And who was their captain? Their captain on that mission was
the cadre was the commanding the one.
The cadre.
But I think we've established that that's Val's squad, right?
Yeah. So I think either like you decide if those characters are there, maybe.
Yeah. So Val, you're there, and so if we all play a character from the Ember Wolves, and we give like one memory of our home, and then we ask Val like to tell us about her home. Yeah, shall I start?
So just to like, what is this around the campfire? This, or where is this happening?
Yeah, I think so because they get back kind of late. It's kind of late at night when they get back. They're around. Yeah. Sorry, go on. Carry on.
Like I feel like this would totally be around the forge, right? Because if we're like stripping our armor off and cleaning it and banging dents out and stuff like that, we'd be around like the anvil and like where the blacksmiths are working and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, in fact, have we even set up like a camp, or are we in like Plainsworth? Have we kind of requisitioned kind of?
Well, that's kind of cool. If we've like taken over an abandoned inn and
This is
Yeah.
our garrison
something
now.
like that, yeah,
Your former city's watcher or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that idea
That's
rather than us
badass,
getting in the
yeah.
camp. Yeah. Yeah, cool. And yeah, we've requisitioned this like old like tavern, kicked them out, and yeah, we're around this forge, like a blacksmith's forge, like across the road.
Yeah, I mean, and this can also be a thing where we walk in, the quartermaster like drops a bag of gold on their, on their counter, whatever on the bar, tells them to get lost for a week, and and we'll be gone or something like that. That's we don't even need to we don't need to go in and steal it or anything like that.
Yeah, cool. So I think I'll play Violet Charging Tide, the Panyar. And she's like banging out this kind of this dent from where one of the hounds kind of got its teeth into her shoulder. Says, you know what I miss from Panyar? I miss the bird song. Waking up every morning to the bird song. Nowadays, you wake up and you just don't hear the birds anymore. Like those ravens, they were the first birds I'd seen for weeks. I just miss that sound.
And I think this is when kind of managing to be quiet. Midi pushes with her shoulder into the room from the outside, and she's got like her arms full of wineskins, and starts handing them out with commendations from the marshal.
And like the Viscount grins and is like, "Give it here," and she says, "This is better than wages." Oh, what a dreary little hole! It is only the camaraderie of my fellow squad mates that compels me to stay in a place like this.
I bet this, offering to cheers you, like, I bet this swill is not like the fine wines and brandies you enjoyed back in Orr, Viscount.
Oh no, I wouldn't go so far as that. I don't know. They need some curtains or something in here, but this is just fine for now.
Because if you ain't drinking it, I'll surely take yours.
For the amount of it that I am going to drink, I would hate if you spend money on something like this. You only want to have a little bit of it because then you can actually savor it. No, for the task we have ahead of us this evening, this will do. But Captain, I have spoken at length on the crenellations and curtains, and we have heard about the forest depths of the Panyar. You hail from the craggy mountain peaks. Surely you are you missing goats, perhaps?
Val like laughs, and she's been like kind of maybe like in contrast to all the hammering, the Zemyati wear clothes and armor that have like braided wire bits on them. So like all the gunk that's always in her armor, she has to clean it with like a toothbrush, basically.
Yeah, like
so,
like a fine wire brush. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody's like hammering away, and she's just like got her little brush and is like delicately getting like I don't know, people's brains out of her clothes. And
I love the contrast there between the big hulking kind of violent brute and this delicate little toothbrush on her arm.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
like, yeah. And she says, actually, you know, it's more like home than I thought it'd be. The Zemyati, we all have like a special tree that we grow. When you become a clan member, and she like holds up her hand, and there's like, she probably has like little nicks all over the place, but there's one like deep one in her palm. When you become a clan member, you water the tree, your clan tree, in blood. So actually, you know, there's no shortage of blood around. And all you forest folk around. Kind of smells like home.
I think Azura like looks up at you from denting her armor. It's like, you know, we have like a little bet going on, me and Violet, about what Panya name we would call you. I think I'm starting to think that I'm going to win this with Lion. What do you think, Violet?
Well, you know, I put all of my wages on big fucking. Like she's gets like pushed by like spits out her wine, can't finish it. But anyway, all this talk about home, whatever. Home now is the Legion. I say cheers to the Legion.
And to the big fucking lion.
Awesome.
Cool, and we cut the scene there. Wow, look at that! We're in time. We got in time. Oh, we didn't do the campaign actions, did we?
Do we get any kind of reward for doing those scenes, or is it just
no? They're just purely for flavor.
I'm totally fine with that. I was just curious how that. Yeah. It just kind of makes some fiction to go along with all this.
I mean, we can do stuff in them. Like you can start to say, and now I want to like pump up the squad for next, or I want to convince someone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you can pull out the dice to get things done in these scenes.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Which might come in handy when we're in a really desperate situation.
Sure.
And we need to get creative. Yeah.
But they are mainly for flavor and, you know, putting people behind all these soldiers.
I am in favor of flavor. So.
They're also great for setting yourself up to get cheaper flashbacks next time. Because you can say, we already saw this in the fiction, right? So it's a cheap flashback.
Yeah, remember when we were talking about this thing, or you saw me write in my diary, or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty great. Okay, cool.
Spoken like a true gamer.
Yeah.
So before we go to outros, I was just gonna hear with you, Commander. For next time, one, do you want to advance again? And two, which mission do you want to focus on?
So I do not want to advance.
Yeah, I mean, seems like we've got it pretty cushy here.
I so I want to build up some resources while we're here in a place that has them, because we are headed to places that do not. So, so we're going to do at least we'll do one more in Plainsworth and see what we.
Yeah, so that means that you will have two campaign action in Plainsworth, actually, because you're doing the campaign action before you move. Cool. That means you have free choice of whichever mission you want to focus on. Do you have any...
Is it in the rules, can we spend intel to get special missions? Is that how it works?
We can.
How much intel have we got left?
We've got one that would put us to 0, but I'm inclined to maybe do that to although, yeah, I am actually, I gotta say I'm kind of inclined to do that so that we can. But although spending intel gets us bonuses to our engagement rolls.
Yeah.
Engagement roll is just like how you start out, though, isn't it? I don't know if it's really that important.
Okay, so
not for secondary.
It is on a primary mission.
Oh,
on a
yeah.
secondary.
Secondary, it's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's one die. But the access to a special, like, I love the idea of special missions. So
Yeah.
So how does this work, Mikhail? Before you tell us what any of the missions are, I say whether I'm going to spend or not, and then you give us the missions, or do you give us 3 missions and I go, nah, I'll spend to get a special, and then it rejiggers them? Or how does that work?
I can show you the special missions, and then you can decide. I'm fine with that. I mean, I want to see the coolest thing on screen. So, and
as do I. Can I also ask? Can I ask a favor? Which is maybe and if it's, and you can reject it if it's too munchkin-y or if you think I'm metagaming too much. I would just ask you the favor of, one of the things that you can hit us with is to reduce the amount of time we have. Like one of the kind of long-term things you can hit us with is essentially what it says in the book, is that it, whatever, like it's a consequence that reduces the total time of the campaign, that basically knocks 10% off of the amount of the campaign. Could I just put in, so like it's the first time we're playing, we don't necessarily understand all the tactical stuff. Can I just put in a request that you not hit us with that?
Well, we can always say, I want to resist that. Anything Mikhail says, we can say, oh no, I don't want that to happen. I want to resist it. If we can give them an explanation, a fictional explanation how.
That was not my understanding of how that worked then. So,
but also that sounds like a pretty not interesting consequence for me as well. So I don't think it would come to that.
Because knowing that one thing is off the table, that helps me plan better. What's going on. I mean, obviously it's uncertain because we're making rolls and stuff like that, but knowing that there's no possibility that if we're 2 ticks away, you go, haha.
Just knowing
game over. Yeah.
Knowing Blades from the GM side, there's those times when there's a desperate action and you want to lay on 3-4 consequences on the group, because we all went in and threw 7 dice today. Imagine if those had gone like a fluke, then the consequences need to be like a lot of different things.
Sure. So I think Mikhail said that's cool. So that's good. That's all I needed is Mikhail saying that's not interesting. I'm not going to do that. I'm all set on that. So we're good.
Cool.
I'm just wondering so the time to resist would have been like when you threw that 6. Or is that when we were saying we could resist anything when the...
No, because that's like because that is already a development, right? Anything that happens to us,
yeah.
I'm very cool with not getting bogged down in a big rules discussion right now.
I was just confused. I was like, how do you resist time passing?
Yeah, you don't. So
you have to have a fictional explanation for it, and if you don't, then of course, then it's kind of not a valid move to say.
But let's just gather up mechanics questions in chat, and I'll answer them as we go.
Yeah.
And so for next week, did you have any mission focus in mind? For special, I'm going to put the specials there. You're going to decide if you're going to do them or not, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, please. Yep. My strong inclination is to try and bump our.
Yeah.
We're in pretty good shape. Is to go on a mission to get some favor for our chosen.
Cool.
And she has 3 different flavors or something.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different ones we can get for them. So
which mission I want. So, and it has the favor. We'll see.
Cool.
Cool. So let's just do some outros. Go around the table. I am Mikael. Thank you for watching. Whoever's been doing that, I had a great time. It was. I have done some work trying to describe our undeads this time, and I enjoyed that a lot. You can find me here on Twitter. I'll be I don't know. I don't really tweet that much these days, but if I do, it's about role-playing games or politics. Great mix there. And so, yeah, mostly role-playing games. So don't be afraid. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place. You want to go next, Paul?
Yeah, sure. I'm Paul. You can find me on my Twitter at Marshall Stacks, even though I'm not the Marshal, I'm the law keeper, but there you go. I don't post about role-playing games much at all. I basically post like semi-naked pictures of myself in the brewery, getting all hot and sweaty. Looking forward to next week. Really looking forward to maybe getting some holy mystic weirdo action off of our chosen. That would be great. Cool. Pass it around. Joelle, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Joelle at Dine Joelle on Twitter. I don't post that much, but I'm very liberal with my likes. So if you want to feel seen, that's it. Matthias?
Yeah, hi, I'm Matthias. You can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter, and I get into role-playing rants and stuff like that, so it happens. This has been super fun. I'm already looking forward to next week. It's a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of moving parts, but it's fun to explore that and learn that. And you're also awesome to play with, so that's great.
Oh, same to you. Go back.
So over to you, Jim.
I'm Jim Crocker. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Likes Games. My website is jimlikesgames.com. I have a little podcast called Just Played, where I do little session recaps of games that I've been a player or a game master in, and you can find that on all the various podcatchers. Episodes run like 15 to 20 minutes for the most part. It's me talking about a game I played, a little bit about the plot, the characters, something that I learned from the session, and maybe an observation I made from the play of that game. I do a whole bunch of different games. You can find that again at Just Played. And I've got a YouTube channel where if you enjoy watching actual play videos like this one of people, like regular people just hanging around playing indie games, I've got probably, at this point, 3 or 4 dozen of them up there on my channel. So you can find that by searching my name, Jim Crocker, or Jim Likes Games on YouTube. A lot of that is all Gauntlet games. And hopefully at some point I'm going to recap one of these episodes on Just Played. So looking forward to that. So Mikhail, are you posting these publicly after our stream is over?
Yeah, I'll put them on my YouTube. You'll find them, I think, on the same tag that is in the picture of Mikael as well. I'll link them to you as well, so you can.
Fantastic, and I'm here to say the game is much more fun after you actually read the book. So that's what I did in the last couple of weeks. I slogged my way through it, and I didn't really understand it the first time we played, and now I think I get it quite a bit more. So it was well worth it. There's a lot there, but it's actually fairly
Big
well
book.
put together. Yeah, but it's well put together, and kind of one thing leads to another in a way that makes a lot of sense when you read the whole thing through. And so it's a pretty great game.
Yeah, like this week I put all tag things in so I can know what pages to go to. They made it a lot easier to read.
Our Lord Keeper's organized.
Yeah. I might have to take a page out of the Lord Keeper's book until next week. So see you guys.
See you, bye.
Cool. See you soon.